Hey guys, and welcome to the new episode of Automated Seller Podcast. Today I have a special guest, Karim, a co-founder of MarktPlatz1, a German, Austrian, and Switzerland Amazon agency. Hi Karim, how are you?
Hi, Jakob. Fine, thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Great. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a guest on our podcast. And yeah, could you introduce yourself to the audience and MarktPlatz1?
Yes, so I'm Karim. I'm from Salzburg in Austria, where MarktPlatz1 is based originally. I'm in the internet and other marketing business since 1998, and in 2016, I think we founded the Amazon agency MarktPlatz1, and since then we support brands and companies, manufacturers, presenting their products and selling their products via Amazon.
And could you actually introduce more in detail your services? How do you help those companies?
That's a big range, I think. So that starts from punctual support and consulting. Some clients only have a few questions and want to have our feedback. Most of our clients are long-term clients. We develop together a strategy. Most of them are not present at this moment on Amazon or not actively present. So maybe their products are sold by third-party sellers, but they're not actively using the platform. So we develop a strategy how to use the platform, how to present the brand, how to present the products, how to how to do the pricing, how to do the logistics, advertising, search engine optimization, how to go to new markets, for example, not only Amazon, also eBay and so on, and also supporting them in the daily business. So regarding reviews, regarding customer service, regarding returns, or any technical problems you can have on Amazon each day.
Great. So pretty much you do everything from A to Z regarding marketplaces, especially Amazon, also with managing the account itself.
Yes, yes.
Totally. And I know that you are well established in actually German, Austrian, and Switzerland. And actually, I wonder what motivates you to enter those markets, and what are the unique challenges that you face in particular those three markets?
So in fact, the German-speaking markets are our home market. So we are German-speaking. We have an office or the headquarter in Austria and also an office in Germany. So that's for sure that's the for us the easiest way to work with. The the German market, so Amazon DE is not only for Germany but also for Austria and for Switzerland. So that's why we cannot make a big difference between Austria and Switzerland or Germany. Germany is the biggest market. It's also the biggest Amazon market in Europe, and Austria is a very small one. We um, we've seen at the beginning that it makes no sense to say we only do the Austrian or we only do the German market. So we focused on establishing businesses on the German speaking market. And we focus still there on, so we are not very present. For example, do not have clients, for example, in France or in Spain or so on. So that's our main market. Um, and as there are we have the same language but with different texts and different regularities, and that's yeah, even if Germany and Austria are in the European Union, Switzerland is not. So there are some specialties to have an eye on. Yeah, but in general, as it's our home market, for us it's the easiest way to work.
Totally. Actually, I was surprised that Amazon is in Switzerland. I was not aware of that. Is it actually the biggest marketplace in Switzerland, or do they have something also different?
um I do not know the up to date numbers, but it's not been a long time that Amazon started serving Switzerland actively, because
Hmm.
in a indirect way, people from Switzerland, they ordered products at Amazon and let them deliver to the frontier,
Mhm.
in the German and the Austrian frontier, and then they picked it up on the on the frontier, because there was still always a problem with the tax and other issues, which made it difficult to import products
Mhm.
via e-commerce platforms, for example, from Germany to Switzerland.
Mhm.
And then they started open the market, and sell products via vendor only. That means Amazon sells the products to the end customer, and they have a deal with the Swiss tax and finance department. So they pay all the taxes they have to pay in a bulk. I think I cannot explain it good in English. And But there are more and more sellers, watching out how to sell products in
Mhm.
Switzerland, as they have. It's a rich country. They have a very high value in the basket, and that's why it's an interesting market, even if it's very a small market.
Mhm. Totally. Yeah, sure. Thanks for explaining this. And I wonder. I mean, there's a lot of Amazon agencies out there, especially in Germany, and I wonder what differentiates you from others.
In fact, we are not a typical agency, as we in our background, there's a company which is a big seller and also a vendor since about 15 years on Amazon, eBay, and other platforms. They have their own online shops, and we we founded the agency out of the seller vendor company.
Mhm.
So at the beginning, we were a seller and vendor, and then we saw that there is know-how we could sell to other sellers and vendors. And Yeah, we are very small, so that means we did not put the focus on growth, but on long-term relationship and on quality and on specialties. So for sure, we could do any service the client needs, but we are not focused on, for example, on always doing full service or always selling advertising. So
Mhm.
we are focused on direct to consumer, on brands which are not which have no e-commerce strategy, or which are stuck in their strategy, and they want to take the next step, or the first step. That's our main focus.
Mm-hmm, totally. So, speaking of actually the unique challenges and opportunities for D2C and a German speaking market, how does it differ from other markets? What are the unique challenges there?
I don't know if there are unique challenges on the German-speaking market. We have some challenges between Germany and Austria, for example,
Mm-hmm,
as in general, you have like the German country, which is served by a German department of the big brand, and the Austrian market, which is served offline by the Austrian department of the big brand. But on Amazon.de, as you can't make a difference between German and Austrian clients. We have the problem that all the sales go to the German department of sales of the big brand. So we have some Austrian clients, or Austrian departments of the big brands. They want to have the Austrian sales counted on their to their
mm-hmm,
sales. So that's a difficulty which is not easy to solve. Yeah, but a part of that, I think they are not not typical challenges.
mm-hmm,
Um, like for example, in Belgium, you have two equal languages, which is very different. Also on the same marketplace, that's not the case in Germany and Austria. It's the case in Switzerland.
mm-hmm.
They have different languages too. So yeah,
So,
it's
even for logistics, it's not really like super hard to do when it comes to selling across those three countries.
that depends on the product. So, for example, alcohol is still a problem between Germany and
Hmm.
Austria. So there are some restricted products which you can't send over the frontier in the easier way. But it gets easier and easier as both countries are in the European Union, and it has to work. Yeah, so there are some specialties, but in general, it's in the last years also Amazon made it easier and easier.
Hmm. Okay, got it. So basically, when we talk about internationalization, do you also help actually your clients to expand to other markets outside of Germany, Austria, Switzerland? I don't know, maybe Polish market, maybe US market. There's a lot of different markets, so I really wonder, do you also do that?
Yes, for sure. It's my colleague Klaus is it's his specialty is the internationalization. He founded a company this year in the US for the purpose of selling easier products, hosting, doing the logistic and selling products easier on the US market, and also for our clients. Uh, because internationalization on the European Union market is not so difficult. You have some language issues, for example, but in general, if you use, for example, the Pan European Union program in logistics, it's very easy to on a logistic way to serve all the clients in all countries via Prime next day delivery or 2 day
Hmm.
delivery. But US is very special because it's very difficult for many products to establish them on this market, and also logistics is also an issue. But if it works, then it explodes. So that's why
Okay.
if we have developed products, for example, in the European Union, then we try to find out if this product has a potential on the US market, and then we help our clients with our own logistics and our own warehouse and so on, also to establish an US market, which already worked with a few clients. We already put them to the or help them to the US market.
That's amazing. So, what are the key factors that the brand should consider when actually expanding to US market? Like, you said something that the product needs to be unique. It needs to have its fit. Like, do you provide somehow the strategy and analysis for that also for the client?
Yeah, sure, sure. That's the first thing to do, is to see, is there any potential? What could be the risk? What could be a problem? Sending the product to US or selling them. Also, yeah, regarding FDA and all the restrictions you have if you want to import products or export products to the US. Um, and then also to see which products and which brands are strong, are the best sellers, and are very strong in the US, which have the where is the US the home market of which brands, and what should we have to do to be competitive to those
Hmm.
competitors, because many of the brands and products which are bestsellers, for example, in the German speaking market, they are unknown in the US. So if you start selling products there, it's much easier. For example, as 20 years before without Amazon, but it's still you are not the first one selling a product, and you're not the first one, and people are not waiting for you. So you have to develop a good strategy, not to spend too much time and money, and then to be and then to fail establishing products
Hmm.
and brands. So that's but what is interesting in general with Amazon is, if you have a great product and if you can sell the product to a comfortable price, it's it's nearly uh, impossible not to be successful. So we have some products which the brand was to 100% unknown in the US market, but it was a product which it's we're talking about ecological cleaning uh,
Mm-hmm.
cleansing products, like dishwashing and so on. But as the product is great and you have already over the whole European Union market, you have great reviews, and also that's a point where reviews are getting closer and closer, and over all borders, they are shown to the customers. Um, uh, it was in fact very easy without a big advertising budget to find some customers who are willing to buy this product, which is more expensive than a conventional product. But you have that niche of ecological
Mm-hmm.
dishwashing products, for example. It's not There's not millions of people, but for example, if you only have 0.5% of the Amazon customers in US, it's already
That's a
enough
lot.
people to be successful. So that's interesting, and that's always surprises me in a positive way, how how you can how you can be successful with a product with a great value, with great quality, where clients are happy when they use it. You can really develop the product and sell more and more
Mm-hmm.
of the product, but also you can develop the brand. So we say it's developing a brand from the other side. You do not put the brand into the head of the customer, and then in the store they have to see the brand, and then they say, oh, I have to buy it. You have great products, and then you develop the brand with the products up.
Mm-hmm.
The best example, I think everyone is using it, is Anchor, with
Mm-hmm.
the cables and superchargers and so on,
Yeah.
and they really grow big and bigger, but it's due to the fact that they had really great products to a competitive price.
I think I'm using the charger somewhere here.
I
So
think everyone is at least using one
yeah, they
Anchor.
sent me one actually for influencer program when I was
Ah,
doing some
okay.
like when I was influencer on IG, actually, like tech influencer, and yeah, I really love
Ah,
their product. But no, that's actually awesome what you said, Riv, with the German products that they can find. And they can do like they can find a place in the market, like the US market, and they can do actually very well. Because I think that in the past it was really the opposite. It was usually that Europe was copying US when it comes to e-commerce, and in general it was always like US had crazy trends. I mean, all of that was actually coming from China, and now it seems like those products that are eco-friendly or handmade, they actually are doing really well in US market, and now people from US are actually copying Europe, or just Europe is expanding to US.
yeah.
So I can see the trend here, and
Hmm.
it's great that you have actually such a success stories in your portfolio. So I wanted to jump to the next questions, actually regarding different models that you provide. So I know that you are helping Amazon sellers, but I also saw that you are helping Amazon vendors, right? Could you
Yes.
tell a little bit actually on those services, how they are different, and how do you actually recommend one for the client?
Yeah. So if a client, so yeah, we have different positions where we start. So some of our clients, they are not yet a vendor and not yet a seller. So seller means you sell via your own seller account on Amazon. Um, and vendor means you sell the product to Amazon, and Amazon sells the product to the end consumer. And if a client has no engagement at all at the moment, we have a look what makes more sense. And in the last years, there was a clear development that even manufacturers and brands tend to be more seller than vendor, because in the vendor program, which also has some advantages, but not the same amount of advantages it had, for example, 5 years before. Um, uh, uh, for example, if 5 years before or 4 years before, if you were a vendor, you had access to advertising placements. You had not as a seller, but at the moment, the seller is I think nearly the same access as the vendors have.
Mm-hmm.
So then we compare the advantages of being a seller versus a vendor, and also the disadvantages, and also the possibility of maybe being in a hybrid
Mm-hmm.
version, so being seller and vendor at the same time. For example, brands which are a vendor since many years, maybe they want to have an alternative of being a vendor only in Amazon. So we develop a strategy how they can also start being a seller without destroying their vendor business, or without also destroying the vendor relationship with Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So in fact, I didn't count it, but I think most of our clients are vendor and seller in same time,
Mm-hmm.
or they are seller because they haven't been vendor, and so sometimes it doesn't make sense to get a new vendor. It only makes sense to start as a seller. And what is also interesting is you have some especially big brands or big very old traditional companies. um, they don't want to be vendor, but they also can't be a seller. They couldn't establish the
Mm-hmm.
seller processes in a in a normal time of space. So and then there's another model we also sometimes use, is the broker model. That means for those companies, it's the best thing to say yes for the next 1 2 years. For example, we have a look, we search a qualified seller which maybe already sells the products from the brand, and then we get in dialogue with that seller, and maybe there's some help from the side of the brand to that seller, maybe some exclusivity, maybe
So
he
it's
gets.
like a distributor then, like the seller
Yes, like,
talks to the distributor.
yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
a preferred distributor, because you cannot say you are the only one who sells the
Yeah.
products on Amazon. But there's a preferred, a better relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
this seller also then does the brand work. For example, the brand store and A plus content and so on for the brand, and in cooperation with the brand. So the brand now knows that that work is done in a good way, and the seller has a good support from the brand. So that's a good way, for example, for those traditional, very old companies, or very structured companies which have difficulties to establish seller structures on their own, to 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 know that the brand uh, work has been done in the way the brand wants it to have done.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
hope
that's no, no,
that's
that's actually really interesting, because I've never heard of this kind of collaboration, especially when talking to agency founders. And for the vendor, I also assume that, because it's not that everyone can become a vendor if they just want. So you have to be invited by Amazon. So I assume that what you do is also like you are contacting Amazon, actually, if one of your clients wants to become a vendor, right? So you also help with the whole
Yeah, sure.
process of becoming the vendor. Hmm.
Sure. It's not, it's sometimes it's a little difficult, but in general, if you have interesting products and there's a potential also seen by Amazon, so it's not impossible. But in fact, most of our clients, we also try to help them to develop on on long term strategy. And a long term strategy in general is better for the brand and the company if you have at least a hybrid strategy.
Hmm. Understand. And now for new customers of yours, actually, who just plan to start selling on Amazon, could you provide some insights on actually what's your plan? What's crucial for brand success? How to start?
Yeah, that's as we always develop an individual strategy. I think it's a little it's not so
Hmm.
easy to say that there
It's
are
not
the
general
five.
for every brand, every niche, every category, right? It's
Yes,
actually
yes. So
tailored.
it depends. It depends on the first time. It depends on the competition and how the brand is already present on the market, because we uh, we do not have in general any product is present and any brand is present on Amazon, but many times it's not the quality of presentation the brand would deserve. So we develop, in general, we have maybe some steps. Like the first thing would be, I don't know the word in English, but it's like not a brand hygiene. So
Hmm.
if in general you have many products which are not presented in a quality way, so you have bad product images, you have bad titles, bad bullet points, and not very good product description, no A plus content, no brand store. So the first thing would be to establish a good brand presentation, even if their focus there is not on selling many products. It's to establish a red, yeah, how can I say it? To establish the minimum of brand quality, brand presentation quality. You would also you also try to have outside of Amazon, for example.
Hmm.
And then the next step would be to see which model would be the best for the manufacturer, for the brand, so seller and or vendor or maybe broker. So there are different steps, but in general the first step is really to see how is the brand presentation at the moment, and what should be done in any way, even if the company decides not to be a seller or not to be a vendor, but at least to do the brand registry, and at
Hmm.
least to yeah to do a better content, for example, for the brand store, and do a better content for the A plus content and for the products.
Hmm. And of course, you also provide all of that,
Yes.
like when you work with the clients.
Yeah.
That's actually yeah, really really good. So for actually, I also wonder, like as an addition to that, are there any like niches that you prefer to work with? I mean, I'm talking about product categories, or are there any product categories that you will never work with? Actually, I wonder what's your opinion on this.
That's a good question. No, in general, we do not have any preferred category or any category we do not serve. If we already have a client in a specific category, even there, if there is no exclusivity or no contract which does not allow us to have a second client, for example, in the same category,
Hmm.
we only serve one client per category in general. As
Got
we
it.
are not so big, for us it's no problem.
Hmm.
Um, as we are seller and vendor also in the background, for sure there are some categories we are more comfortable because we have more experience over the last 10 years. But in general, if I have a look on our last new clients, it's from lavender oil to um, backpacker accessories. So there's nothing common
Hmm.
in between. So no,
Okay,
yeah.
that's amazing. And actually, I wonder also for MarktPlatz 1, what are your future plans? Your, I don't know, next milestones, goals, focuses. Do you still plan to serve basically clients on Amazon, or you maybe prefer to focus just on vendors? I just wonder if you could say something.
Yeah, in general, we've seen that we have the most fun and we feel most comfortable with traditional companies, yeah, which want to develop a direct to consumer strategy but do not have any strategy at the moment. That's, yeah, that we really love to do that. Also, that's my, but also from my colleagues, we also love to have some startups, because there you really can influence much and you can really avoid many mistakes many of the startups do. So we really like. So we yeah, that's our I think that's our focus also in the next years. Direct to consumer, also some startups.
Hmm.
We will for sure stay in the German speaking market, and also will not found any office in outside in the European Union. And also a focus for the next years will be the internationalization for the US market. So that's the
Awesome.
yeah.
That's great. So for everyone who listened to the podcast, if you actually consider selling on Amazon into a seller or vendor or broker, like program way, then definitely contact Karim. And yeah, Karim, thanks a lot for being here. And for just last few words, could you actually share with the audience like where can they find you? Yeah,
Yeah, so you can find us for sure online on marktplatz1.com or marktplatz1.com. You can contact me also via LinkedIn or via Facebook if you have any questions. Feel free to contact me. Yeah, so that's I'm always
awesome.
open for any questions.
Awesome. I'll make sure to put all of the details also in the description of this podcast. Like on, it will be definitely on YouTube, maybe also on other channels.
Hmm.
So thanks a
Yeah,
lot, Karim.
thank you too.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.